Good morning and welcome to the Elevate Renatus team call. This is your host, Keely Austin. Today is Takeoff Tuesday. It's November 17th. We've got a great trainer today, but first, just a couple of quick announcements. Our quote of the day today is, "A river cuts through a rock, not because of its power, but because of its persistence." Couple of dates to take note of. We have our Renatus National Conference coming up in March 2021. 3 days of awesome training from our leadership around the nation. And the theme for that is shifting higher into focused transformation. So if you haven't marked your calendar, make sure you do so. Also, we have our leaders retreat in August of 2021. We're going to Cabo San Lucas, Mexico, August 13th through the 17th. Mark your calendars. If you have not been joining us for the Renatus Founders Facebook Live, it's every Monday at 4 p.m. Make sure you tune in. This is a quote that I thought went well with this. There are three kinds of people in this world: people who make it happen, people who watch what happens, and people who wonder what happened. So tune in to the Founders Live every Monday at 4 p.m. to stay tuned in with what's going on in the company. We've added some daily and weekly support to our systems. We've got our weekly private capital masterclass every Thursday at 6 p.m. Mountain Time. We have our daily real estate action mastermind, the Dream Call. That's every day, Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 9:45 Mountain Time. Fabulous Friday morning with Lily Portas, 8 to 9 on Mountain Time every Friday. That's been a lot of fun with Lily. And last but not least, we have our Get to Know You call Monday through Friday at noon. Michael Huggins and Scott Rowe have put this together to put your guest in front of stories. So we've got a different story every day of the week. These are being recorded and put on YouTube. So in case you missed the noon meeting, you can go ahead and just take the recording and send it to your guests. Very, very powerful exposure for your guests, for them to just see a short and sweet snippet of a success story. Make sure that you check out oesoes.com. There's a short 5-6 minute video on there that Michael put together that talks about the OES and why you want to be a part of that, the optional event subscription. Last week's house tour, we toured Ryan Black's house. Every Wednesday, we do a house tour that is built around bringing your guests to that so they can see what we're up to in the real estate world. This purchase was completely covered by one of Ryan's last deals, and the last deal was covered by the last deal. So it's really cool to see this domino effect of all of these deals paying for themselves. So once you get the ball rolling, it's, again, very exciting to see what is possible. So congratulations, Ryan, for this amazing deal. We've made some shifts to our weekly events. So just take note if you'd like to take a screenshot. This is a little bit different here. I'm going to go through these in detail here for just a moment. We've got our profits intro at 12:30 on Tuesdays. Every Wednesday, we have our English house tour, so that has not changed. However, we are now offering an AIT bonus track study group in Spanish, and that is on Wednesdays at 7 p.m. Every Thursday, we have our house tour in Spanish. We've got our Pillars of Wealth. We have our follow-up and funding webinar, onboarding session, essentials session, business development, and real estate study groups. All of these are offered in English. We have our multifamily, wholesaling, and short-term rental. We do record these morning calls. We're on both Facebook Live as well as on YouTube. You want to be a part of our Renatus Team Elevate private Facebook page because there's a lot of important announcements there. And of course, like I mentioned, you can catch these recordings. And then our YouTube channel has both of these morning calls as well as the Zoom up calls. So make sure you are taking advantage of those two resources. And today we get to learn from Bill Predebon. It's Takeoff Tuesday. Bill has been spending an hour with us each and every Tuesday, I want to say for about a year now. And it's been a lot of fun learning from Bill. He's got a lot of success to share, a lot of experience, and he is so passionate and energetic about this business. So I just love hearing him train. Before Renatus, Bill was a pro skier in Vail, Colorado, and he realized he was not really qualified to do much else. So he looked into some other opportunities. He bought a couple of stores. So he got into the franchise world. Due to lack of knowledge, he ended up losing the business. In 2007, Bill thought about getting into real estate investing. He did not find the Renatus education yet, so he just dove in without really getting educated. And that was right around the 2008 crash, and he ended up over $400,000 in debt because of that. After that, Bill found Renatus, and he was able to pull himself out of that hole pretty quickly. He made 8 times more in his first year than he did the previous year as both a loan officer and as a realtor. And fast forward to today, he has now completed over 150 deals, well over 150 deals, has grossed multiple 7 figures in real estate investing, and is now also a marketing leader where he's enrolling students on top of all the real estate he's doing. So it's really, really inspiring. And he's also on the PIT team in training to be on the PAC, the President's Advisory Council. So Bill, again, has a lot of experience and wisdom to share with us. Make sure you take notes. Good morning, Bill. How are you?
What's up, Keely?
Hey, Billy.
Can you hear me okay?
Yes, you sound good.
Can you see me okay?
Yes.
I got a little light on. Better?
Yeah, you look good.
What's up? Good morning. This is exciting. I love being here. Thank you for that awesome intro. Thanks for all you do. Thanks for helping me out yesterday. I really appreciate it. This is cool. I'm so glad to see everybody here. My phone's ringing. I don't know why. Of course, it's Rick. I have to get on the phone. Right on. So today, Keely, thanks. I'm excited to be here. God, you know what? I don't know. I would love to know how, I think it's, did you say you thought it's been a year that I've been doing this?
A year that you've been doing what?
Did you say you thought it'd been a year since I've been training on this call?
Yes.
Is that all?
It's more than a year for
More
you.
than that?
It's 2.
Okay.
2 years, because I started about a year and you started before me.
Yeah, I think it's been 2 years.
Yes.
Yeah, cool. Even Melissa says, okay, cool. Yeah, I thought it was me. I'm losing my mind. I don't know what day it is. All right, so today, I've been thinking about this, of course, as we always do. Welcome, everybody. And first off, I'm excited. I've been talking to some people that I'm reaching out, 760-533-3141. And then last night, one of my good friends reached out to me, and she's working on a deal in Massachusetts. And of course, my phone was blowing up and I was in the middle of stuff, so I couldn't deal entirely with everything. So if that ever happens, guys, I promise we'll get it going the next day. So hopefully her and I are going to connect this morning. And but you guys are welcome to give me a call and check things out and talk. So 760-533-3141 is my number. And I just always remember to remind you that if I do miss your call or don't call you back or don't text you, it literally does get buried. If you do leave a message, that will stay on my phone until I call you back, so that it's a reminder. But and then my voicemail gets full, and then I have to deal with it. So, but I always try. If you hit me up twice in one day, it's no big deal. It reminds me to get back to you. Cool. All right. So today, any questions or thoughts that you have, or objections, or and I know we all do this, but like at any given time, you guys all know, you can, girls, you can just jump in. But specifically, like if you are working on the intensive, and Michael went over that yesterday. We went over a little bit of the intensive training and the script on Saturday, on the Super Saturday, which was freaking awesome. Love James Leese's energy. He's so badass. And I was driving back from Cali and had a great conversation with James after the Super Saturday. I was packing up for like 2 hours in the car. Long story, but while he was on training. So just a super cool guy, and just really gives a crap, and just doesn't take everything seriously, just rolls with the punches, and it's cool. But so we're gearing up for this intensive, and I will tell you that I personally did have 2 enrollments. Well, I guess 1 full combo enrollment, 100% for sure. Maybe not based on the intensive, but the intensive sealed the deal. Like the intensive was so, she was in the right place at the right time and saw that information, and Heather knocked it out of the park, and she had questions, and they enrolled that night. And she has been going strong ever since she joined the team, and her and her husband. And so that's exciting. And another gentleman that was on the intensive that upgraded, and then another one that was kind of re-engaged, just based on the fact that it was an ICM I hadn't been around for a while, and just texted out of the blue and just was like, I needed to hear this. It was awesome. So with that, we'll gear this towards the intensive. I was going to go in a little bit of a different direction, but we can kind of hit that up anyway. But remember, I'll double check the chats. Keely can keep me online, unless of course you've got to step away. But if you've got something in regards to the intensive, then specifically that you have a question about, then we can talk about it. Michael suggested that you watch the contracts for D's class. I got to tell you, I've never watched it. I don't even know what it is. If you were to ask me to describe contract for deed, I probably couldn't do it properly or justice. It's possible that I've done a deal that looks like a contract for deed. I'd have to watch the class. My suggestion is you watch the class, at least get an idea, so that you can have a conversation with your prospects if need be. For me, I'll probably wing it. But here's the thing about my intensives. Number one is it is not about, in my opinion, what they're training on. Don't get me wrong. It's going to be, when you mention multifamily or, tax and legal or velocity banking. Is it really? It's okay. Put that away. Yeah, I don't know why. Okay, so when you mention that, those are obviously teaser words, intriguing words, excitable words. But when I'm having a conversation with somebody about the intensive, my intention is that they're going to learn naturally, and they are going to, and the topic is always of interest, right? I don't want someone to go to the intensive so that they learn information and they're excited about learning how to do a contract for deed. Okay. Like, on the surface, that's the idea, that I'm going to invite them, right? And most of the time, if I'm inviting somebody to the intensive, rarely is it their first exposure. Now, we'll get to this today. Cool, Dan, good job. But it can be their first exposure. Don't worry about that. But rarely, in my opinion, is it their first exposure. It's a closing exposure. So for me, I don't care if the intensive, who the instructor is or what the topic is, because of this. Number one is it's solid. Like, the individuals that we have doing the intensives are not dry. They're not boring. They're funny. They have great stories. They love Renatus. They help sell Renatus, and they deliver serious content, right? But typically in a 6-hour period where there's introductions, there's breaks, there are, there's jokes and stories and laughter and disclosures and lunch, they're not going to teach you a whole class, right? And they're gonna share with you the concept, right? And so from a guest perspective, the way that I want to tee this up is that, listen, you've seen the intro, right? You've maybe been to a property tour. And even if you haven't, let me share with you a video of a property tour, right? If you get an opportunity to do that this week. And then I don't want to complicate things on, like, you're not doing it wrong. However you're doing it right. At least you're doing something. So you're inviting people, you're getting people there, you're getting people booked. Don't go changing things just because I'm telling you to do this. But what I'm saying is there can be some additional text this week that could go out. And this is what I say, right? The premise behind this is that they're going to see the quality of the education. That's a no-brainer, right? You're going to see the quality of education. But in addition, like, they're truly going to see not just the way that the quality of the education and the content, right? But like the quality of the instructor. So not just the way that the person delivers the information, right? The way that you're going to be like, oh my God, look at this person. Like, I can listen to this person all the time. But they're also going to see the in-depth, the experience of that individual, right? These people that are up in front of the room have a ton of experience. They live and breathe it, right? If you guys have ever been to a sales event or any type of other education, even online, there's some sales stuff going on. There's people that are putting on a show, and although it's funny and there's and it's exciting and things like that, honestly, our instructors aren't putting on a show. They're really delivering the content the way that they would in front of the camera at the corporate office. So the experience for them, I'm teeing them up with the experience of, listen, you like this, you're going to love 36, 37 other instructors in 75 other classes that are going to teach you this exact same, or this, that are going to teach you stuff and that are going to be just as good or better than this, right? And then you're going to see the quality of the group and the way that we come together as a team and so on and so forth, because they're going to see so many people online, and obviously in person that comes out a little bit more. So when I'm inviting this week and last week, and when I'm talking to my folks, my conversation in the invitation to this event is what exactly it is. I don't want them to think, not that I don't want them to, but in addition to them believing they're going to sit there and waste an entire Saturday and learn something, right? And let's call a spade, right? Like, it's an all-day Saturday event. There's got to be some motivation and there's got to be some reason, right? So naturally they're going to have to want to learn, right? But in my opinion, they are doing their due diligence. So it is work, right? They're looking to spend $20,000, and it is work. They're gonna take notes. They're gonna watch the class. They're gonna test out the education. They're gonna test out the instructors. They're gonna test out Renatus in a way, right? And they're gonna hear about Renatus. They may even see a presentation on some of the education they can buy. So it's an event, and I want to prep them for that. I don't want them to think that they're going to an all-day seminar, because that's not what it is, in my opinion, right? Now, you can lay it out however you want, but when my folks are done, they're not going, oh, I thought it would be this. I thought, I didn't realize they'd be selling me the education. I didn't realize that, you really can't walk away from this knowing how to do a contract for deed. Like, I don't want them coming back feeling like they missed out on something. I want them to know that they are going to even get a better experience by understanding more clearly what it is they're buying. I hope that makes sense. So, for example, I talked to a couple people yesterday about this that I confirmed on. Awesome, Keely. And if you guys have questions, thoughts, or comments, then I don't always want this to always be about theory and concepts and stuff. I want it to be live, like legit practices that you can implement. Like, Michael is really good at that, right? Like, writing it on a whiteboard and then writing out the script so you can take it to the bank. So when I talked to Josh yesterday, if he doesn't fund by the end of the month, I'd be shocked, right? He's buying the full combo, cash, and he's busy. And he's a young go-getter, and everybody's busy. And I said, listen, Saturday is coming up. I said, are you interested in, right? I always ask him, are you interested in, or like Richard Stock says, I've got this event on contract or deed, like literally a strategy that is pretty unique and can be done with no money even. It's a very unique strategy where you can really make some decent returns without owning the property, right? And or I don't know how I put it, but I also mentioned velocity banking, and I could talk a little bit stronger to velocity banking. And it's a concept I knew he's familiar with, because we've gone over it from what he's seen so far. So I said to him, like Richard Stock says sometimes, hey, blah 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 blah, that wouldn't interest you with it. I'll say, are you, would you be interested in an event on Saturday, right? And one of our instructors, it's amazing. I told him about the concept, like I said, velocity banking, and it's an all-day event. The cool thing is you're going to love this instructor, right? So I'm future pacing them, if you want to call it that, where I'm telling them how they're going to feel, what they're going to taste, that kind of thing. I use those You want to use words that invoke emotion, right? So you're going to love this. It's super exciting. You know, I can't wait till you see the people in there. You're gonna feel, you know, warm and fuzzy, whatever you want to say, right? It's an all-day event, so it's going to take up some of your time. And he's like, right away, he was like, you know what? A lot of my deals are closing or closed or canceled. He's like, I actually have some time. I'm not as crazy as I was. Yep, I like test drive. You're absolutely right, Mark. But the cool thing is that you're going to really experience, right? I love the word experience. You're going to experience, like, we want to buy experiences for Christmas anymore. We don't want to buy presents. We want to have experiences in life, right? So you're going to experience the true quality of the education, and you're going to really check out what these guys and girls are all about for our instructors, the type of people that Bob surrounds himself with. And this will just be one example of 36 other instructors, right? I got to remember the number. It used to be 32. And now with profits, it's a few more. So, and then one of the things that I do say, and you guys may want to take a mental note of this, is like, I give them a little bit of an out. Like, it's an all-day event. The cool thing is that it's online, right? And so, you know, I know you're busy, right? I know it's a Saturday. You're going to check it out, you know, get in there, you set aside an hour or two so you can really dive into this and get some value from it. The cool thing is you don't have to be there all day. No one's going to know if you duck off, right? It's not like you're going to be leaving in front of the room and walk through everybody. But I said, most likely I would bet dollars to donuts that you're going to end up staying for the whole thing because it's so incredible, right? So I'll set the stage that way. But I can tell you, I have had some success with that. I don't know if it's right or wrong. I don't know if it's good for you or not, but I like it because, and I'm not saying do it, I'm just saying this is what I do, because it has worked the last two. And in my opinion, on a Saturday, given Zoom, when I force somebody to commit to 7 hours of time on a Saturday, it's a mental block. And when I let them know what it's all about and that they're going to love it and they're going to need it and they're most likely going to stay, that they're going to want to block off their schedule. But I say, you know what, if you can find 2 hours in the morning, at least to get started on this thing, then you're going to see what it's like. Right. So for me, and that's usually in a text. It's not usually in on a conversation, but it could be both. But I do like the idea that, that I can let them know there's a couple hours there that they can duck in, and if they needed to get away, they could. And I think it's worked. Like, the people that I've had on there have stayed on. Okay. Let's see, any thoughts? Yeah. Yep. So test drive is a good example. So are there anybody having, I don't know if you want to come offline, or, I mean, is anybody having a hard time understanding the value? Like, I got to tell, like, the value of the intensive. I mean, I know you understand the value of the intensive, but, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's tough when you've been prospecting per se at some level or not, right? And then all of a sudden you've got this big event coming up and it's 5 days away. And so I don't know if you might not even have somebody who's been to an event recently. So all of a sudden it's like, why would I want to, and you know, it's like too little too late. Or does anybody have any negative thoughts around the intensive, or anybody have any concerns about inviting for the intensive, or what to do after the intensive, or how to, you know, is there anything specific that anybody's working on or having an issue with? And I haven't seen anything or come off mute yet, so I'll just keep going. You know me, blah, 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 blah. So go ahead, Jen. I didn't know if you had something. So do you have something?
Sure. Yeah. It's not anything attached to the intensive as far as like negativity or mental struggles around the importance of it. It's a woman that had been reaching out. We've been going back and forth for a little while. She's actually already in MLM and really successful. So that's helpful. She doesn't have like the mental block around network marketing. She told me that she wants to grow and expand and automate her current business. So I did key in on like profits, but she also wants to have a 6-unit complex in the next year. And so she sees the value in Renatus. She's been to an intro and she's seen follow-up videos in the Facebook group, but she is one of those folks that takes a really long time to make a decision. And I know she follows all of my stories, so I keep plugging like the Napoleon Hill quote of people who make decisions quickly, as opposed to people who take a long time to make decisions. So subtly influencing her there to make a decision faster. But she's saying that she sees the value, she can afford to do cash essentials or, you know, do a billings on a combo. But she wants to wait until January 1st to make a decision because she wants to weigh out all of her options and basically really do her research beforehand. So I'm taking the opportunity of this weekend to really light a fire under her to see that she can make things happen in the timeline that she wants if she takes action faster. So I guess part of my question is like, I started using the straight line script where I was like giving her rebuttals to her resistance, and it seemed like it pushed her further away. Like she's really strong-minded as well and very forward, but it seemed like she didn't take well to someone being very direct and forward. When I was like, you know, if you look back 3 years from now and you had seen that you'd been able to make all this money on multifamily units, wouldn't you say that it was like a great idea for you to join now as opposed to waiting until January 1st? And she seemed to like put up more and more resistance as I was moving through the straight line script with her. And eventually she was like, just keep inviting me to events and we'll go from there. So
Okay. So I absolutely freaking love this, Jenna. Like I could hug you right now. So watch this. I freaking love this. All right. Wow. So there's so much in there. You guys, this is so common. This is so normal that expect this for freaking ever, as far as I know, in this business. All right. So I love that you went to the straight line. And then off the bat, when you went to the straight line, right, folks, whatever your closing method is, or whatever your push method is that you're using, there's that fear of loss, right? So right away, it's like, well, it seemed to push her away. And I'm not saying you had the loss, like you're afraid, you know, she's there. I'm just saying for me, like a first feeling, I was thinking like myself, I was like, if I say something wrong, if I try to close them before they're ready, if I do this, that, or the other thing, and then they could walk, right? So then we lose that one of those core beliefs where if they say no, it's their loss. We have to keep that belief, even though it's freaking hard because it's 10 freaking grand. So like, yeah, the little devil's going, yeah, don't buy it, tough crap. See you later, adios. You know, and your other guy, the little angel's going, I want my 10 grand. You better get the 10 grand. Don't say anything wrong. Keep them on the ropes, right? So we have to do a couple of things. We have to become like in this case, and multiple cases for all these reasons, we have to continue to grow as a salesperson closer. And I don't know what that looks like. Josh that I'm talking about, identical. Like I totally agree. There's somebody else at some point would have already closed Josh, and I haven't done it. I haven't closed him. And he is hung up on some BS excuses, the same thing. So just like you, I'm just plugging him into another event with the hopes that the timing is right. At some point, I'm going to also go to a straight line close of some sort. You guys, I don't have the answers to this. And I asked Richard Stock the other day. I said, Richard, do you feel like you are a better closer than other people? Like, have you practiced the art of closing when there are objections, or do you just persist? Like, not to the point where, you know, we're chasing everybody, but when someone's on the rope, he's just good at continually following up until they do or die, right? So we have to make that choice. And here's what he said. A little bit of both. You definitely want to become a better closer over time. The sooner you become a better closer, the more you practice straight line persuasion, the more you listen to some of the greatest salespeople in the world, you read the greatest salesmen, you know, question-based selling, all this bull crap that you've got to learn to do as a salesperson, That's when it's going to come in handy. It's not going to come in handy when you're trying to invite somebody to the meeting, but it's the people that object, that are scared, that are there, that are qualified, that are two of the three. They're either ready, raw, right? Raw, able, and willing. They're either ready and willing, but not able. So then you've got to overcheck the money. They're able, but they're not willing, but they're ready. Like she's ready to go, but she's not willing to go, right? So then we've got to become a closer when we've got to get the 2 out of 3. Or like Belfour's talking about, you've got to have the belief in all 3, right? You, the product, and the company. So you've got all these things going on. Now, you become the closer. Now, here's where Richard Stock, in my opinion, this is back to the very beginning of what you talked about. This is where we got to give a crap, right? So we either have to give a crap enough to where we're studying drive, which I'm learning to love drive. I don't even know what my drive is. You guys probably know more than I do, but to some extent, I use the drive all the time. We have to ask questions that are around that particular person. So Richard and some of the other people in the world of Renatus have much more perfected this type of question. And they are asking about the things that she wants. They are closing with the idea of that's going to make them feel the way they want to feel based on their drive, right? So if we start to give a crap and we start to sit back and go, okay, and dig deeper with this person on a one-on-one follow-up, they don't need to go to the intensive. They don't need to go to another event. They don't need to go to a property tour. None of those things need to happen. In reality, they just need a one-on-one conversation, a real sit down, and you to call them out on their bullshit, right? But if we can't, and we're not good at it, then what do? We push them away and they might not buy. But then we got to have that we got to go back to that thing of, well,